Welcome to IAYTD and welcome to Comic Fights. Today we have two heavy hitters, two villains from the Marvel and DC worlds that are going to go head to head. In this bout we've got Juggernaut Cain Marko versus Black Adam. So let's start with Juggernaut. Juggernaut Cain Marko has a thing called the Gem of Sidorak, and this allows him to basically become this unstoppable, I want to say monster, but this unstoppable force. This basically gives him a limitless strength, limitless endurance. Like, he does not tire. His strength is nearly unparalleled. He's gone toe-to-toe with beings like Hulk, Thor, Thing, Colossus. He's gone against all sorts of very strong characters and beaten them. So Juggernaut is no joke. He also has this force field that protects him. So not only is he immensely strong, but he has this force field. And if you somehow get through the force field, his density is about 4 times, which means his skin, muscle, bones, everything is dense and heavy and just like nearly impenetrable. So even if you get rid of the force field, he is still a force to be reckoned with. Now, when I say get through this force field, the force field basically stops physical attacks. So mental and magical attacks can potentially get through or potentially weaken that force field, but you still have to deal with a very strong and very dense, durable guy when you get through that. And even if you are able to harm him, he has an incredible healing factor. He's been flayed alive and his skin has come back. He's regenerated from that. He has done some incredible things. He has no need for air. He has no need for food. He is completely self-sustaining. He also does not age. Lastly, the Gem of Sidorak also allows him to gain momentum and then not be able to lose that momentum. So when he is running, when he is punching, nothing can stop him. He's only been stopped a few times by incredible, rare shows of power. And so Black Adam is going to have to figure out a way to slow down or stop the Juggernaut when he's on a rampage. So now let's talk about Black Adam, what he's capable of. Black Adam is a little different in the pre-52 and new 52, but luckily his power set is relatively the same, though how he gets those powers is a little different. So let's talk about just what he can do. Basically, he's given this batch of abilities kind of from the 6 Egyptian gods, kind of representing this pantheon of Egyptian gods, and he's given all sorts of powers. Most notably, he is strong, and so he's able to go against beings like Wonder Woman, Superman. He can go against the heavy hitters of the DC universe. He also shares a lot in common with Juggernaut. So like, he doesn't need to eat, he doesn't need to sleep, he doesn't need air. He is incredibly durable and persistent, and it takes a lot to get to him. One thing he can do the Juggernaut can't do is he can fly. He also has this lightning attack, which could potentially, it's magic based, so could potentially weaken or get through Juggernaut's shields, his force fields. Black Adam can also move much faster, that he has this speed that he's able to possibly maneuver around a Juggernaut that is it's harder for him to adjust once he gets going. Black Adam does have a healing factor, though it's not quite as incredible as Juggernaut's. He's also highly resistant to mental attacks, as is Juggernaut. So both of these guys have some similar weaknesses as well. So mental attacks and magic attacks. Both of these characters are vulnerable to. So in a nutshell, both of them incredibly strong powerhouses. You know, they have healing factors. They can take tons of damage. They are both kind of vulnerable to magic and to mental attacks. Mental attacks isn't going to come into play here because neither of them deal mental attacks, but the magic might come into play here. So what do you think happens if these two cross paths? If a rampaging Juggernaut is going to destroy something that Black Adam holds dear, can Black Adam stop him, put him down? Let me know in the comments who you think is going to come out on top. Which leads to the results of last week's fight, which is Black Tom Cassidy versus the Creeper. Now, I don't know where you all were at, because we only really got one decent comment, which, so by default, goes to Sam Murphy. I knew I could always count on you, Sam. I think it'd be a stalemate, since both can seemingly cheat death. However, in terms of who would defeat the other first or more often, I'm going with Black Tom Cassidy. His offensive techniques are clearly advantageous, as he can essentially clone himself and attack from all angles, allowing him to corner Creeper and tear him apart. I'm not convinced that Ryder could take on an army of plants, even with his increased strength. Of course, neither party can really die, so it wouldn't be long before the process would repeat. Perhaps in some instances, Creeper would be able to use fire to his advantage and burn away some of Cassidy's plants, but more often than not, I'd wager Tom would take the win. And Rubius agrees, indeed, would say the same as well. So it seems like it'd be a stalemate. Both of them have incredible healing factors, and so it might just be a back and forth stalemate, tie. I'm calling it a tie. So that is it. Let me know your comments about this fight. Let me know suggestions for other fights. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next Friday.